But we also got to get my dog Shaun Crawford on the petty train, man. Drinking too much of that Kelly Kool-Aid got him really thinking Notre Dame. He living in that Notre Dame narrative, and sad to see.
Oh, Shaun Crawford is you know what, man? I saw this coming though.
Yeah,
I saw this coming,
saw
and
it
I
coming.
will get into it. But I
Shout out to
definitely saw
Varsity
this coming.
Podcast though.
Yeah, yeah.
Live, but man, Shaun, gotta stop drinking that Kool-Aid, man.
Lucky Lefty podcast. Man, you guys pray for my boy Malik. Coach Leak, as we call him. Coach Leak had a tough weekend.
Tough week.
Coach Leak had a tough weekend. Featuring Onora Whisky, OnoraWhisky.com. It's that premium American whiskey, OnoraWhisky.com. And if you drink, make sure that you do drink responsibly. We're going to hear from Marcus Freeman. We're also going to hear from special teams coach Brian Mason. Brian Mason is like my favorite coach now, bro.
Is that right?
Yeah, Brian Mason got a little irritated with a couple of questions, dude.
That's right.
And I like when coaches push back. I like when coaches push back. Right?
Make news.
What it does, in my opinion, is it puts the angst and the responsibility on the media to ask better questions.
That's right.
Sometimes you just have to ask better questions. It's like, the answer you're trying to get, we see what you're trying to get at, but the question and the way you're going about it, you might want to try and do it a little bit differently. We're going to talk about Notre Dame. What's cooking? It's time is ticking. We're close. September 3rd gets closer and closer. And we're about to spit some truth today. Because people really want to know, like, how good is this Notre Dame team? How good are they really? Right, we're hearing this, we're hearing that. It seems like Notre Dame publications can't be joint and together on what they report that's coming out of practices. Things all over the place. We're going to do the best that we can right here in the Lucky Lefty podcast today to let you know what this team is really all about. But we start out, my friend, with a conversation that I want to bring to you that was inspired by none other than Colin Cowherd, host of his own show on Fox Sports Network. And he gave a monologue on the Chicago Bears. And he said, which you and myself, we can appreciate because we are connoisseurs of fashion, food, cars. We like these things. We love these things. And he started to talk about the Chicago Bears and the reason they are still caught in what football used to be is because they love defense. And in coming to love defense, that is all they love to acquire is defensive players, whether it's free agency or the draft. They love defense. That's what appeals to them. That's what it is. It's Chicago. It's toughness. And he went on to say, I can name you 10 great linebackers for the Chicago Bears, and I can't name you one great wide receiver.
Well,
he said because they don't acquire offense. They don't love it. They love offense. And I thought to myself, now, when you say acquire, Brandon Marshall was a trade acquisition for them.
Devin Hester?
Devin Hester wasn't a wide receiver, bro. He was a special teams major. Like, stop. Let's stop. Devin Hester was not a wide receiver. He failed as a wide receiver for the Bears. We're not going to go that far. We're going to be fair in our assessment today, okay? So,
what about Allen Robinson? Allen Robinson was a Pro Bowler.
Do you think Allen Robinson is a great receiver?
Wait a minute.
I don't think he's a great receiver.
Pro Bowlers. Oh, okay.
He's not
you
a
know,
great receiver. Like he said, you can name 10 great linebackers for the Bears.
yeah,
Easy. You just run them
yeah.
off. Easy. Can't name 10 wide receivers, dude. Right? You just can't. I thought it was a great point. And it led me to ask, and I discussed this weekend a little bit, but I wanted to get your input, especially being a quarterback that actually played for the program and knows the field. Do you think, I want to point this out because Brian Kelly was thought of as an offensive genius when he came to Notre Dame. You realize he only had one season where his offense scored 30 points at Cincinnati? Only one out of the 3 seasons he was there did they average 30 points. But yet he was considered an offensive genius coming to Notre Dame. Just want to point that out. Comes to Notre Dame, and I would say as a fan that the face and narrative of the Notre Dame football program has always been built on defense. And this is speaking from the standpoint of a fan. That's why I want to get your perspective. It's always been about we got to play really, really good to great defense to have a chance against good teams. That was always the belief at Notre Dame under Brian Kelly. You got to play great defense to have a chance against the great teams. It was never, you know what, we're going to go out here and put up 40 points on whoever. Like, maybe there was one team in 15 that had that attitude, like, dude, we're going to go out here and put up 40 points against everybody. Doesn't matter who we play. But for the most part, it's been defense. And even in the recruiting, Marcus Freeman, what side of the ball did he, easily start stacking players? Defense. Still don't have a quarterback in the 23 class. You did get CJ Carr in the 24 class, right? And we're trying to finish the class off with offensive guys. Recently lost Ronan Hannafin. Still trying to get Jeremiah Love to commit. Tayshawn Lyons at wide receiver. So just an interesting thought. Wanted to throw that out to you as we start the show today before we get to some other business.
Definitely comes to, the mindset was more of a strategic of keep away football. I
Mm-hmm.
think when you're thinking of Coach Kelly and gaining the wingest coach of all time at Notre Dame, that comes with longevity. So when you're planning ahead and for a longevity type of career, you're not looking to be a high flying offense because one is it's harder to sustain because you need to have sustainable quarterback play, which is you can't just get quarterbacks like you can get other positions. So Coach Kelly, being a smart old guy that he is, he knows that the best strategy is the slow strategy. Is that if we're just super defensive, we're going to let the other team mess up first, and we're not going to mess up. No mistake football. 9 times out of 10, you'll come out on top. The year in 2015 when we looked the best is because we had a high-powered offense mixed with a really good defense. And the problem there was that with the high-powered offense, we could have 50 points a game. And the strategy was that's not what we wanted to do because we felt like when a game close, if we can keep it close to the end, the other team was going to mess up because we were more disciplined and had better players, which most of the time it worked out, which is why, he was never pressed to blow a team out by 21. He was pressed to get wins. And when you're trying to win, it's not always about the offensive attack. It's more like the Floyd Mayweather style. Floyd Mayweather isn't an offensive boxer. He's a defensive style boxer, and that's why defensive style boxing like his leads to 50-0. Coach Kelly's defensive style coach, meaning that he's not looking to blow you out. He's looking to get you close and then beat you with the talent and the situational football of keep away and time management and the intangibles of the game, which is gave you what? The winningest coach of all time. It didn't give you no championships. It didn't give you no, first round offensive superstar juggernauts like you see from other places. But what it does give you is the ability for security, longevity, and you can stack wins in the right place. So with Coach Kelly, I mean, you can't blame his style, but you also realize that it's a selfish style of football. I mean, if you're just trying to secure the bag and get a bunch of wins as a coach.
When you say selfish bag, are you saying that it's really about job security? Am I getting that correct? Is really
100%, one hundred
okay?
percent about job security. But the thing about what Coach Kelly did really well is that he made everything around it really good. So you get a Matt LaFleur, you get a Sanford, you get a Denbrock, you get a Chuck Martin, you get, a bunch of very talented coaches, a Tony Alford. I mean, we had Tony Alford, Autry Denson. We have amazing position coaches that Harry Heastand fought me for to go on and do great things at other places. But it shows you when you have a great supporting staff
Mm-hmm.
mixed with your style of coaching, it's hard to lose. It's hard to lose from a structure, strategy. You thinking of you know 5D chess. You're not thinking of the ins and outs of just day to day, which I think is what gave us an edge for a long period of time. But the bad part about it is that you're not going to win no championship that way
Yeah.
because the good teams that win championships take chances. We don't take chances. We don't win championships.
Lucky Lefty podcast. Taking chances, winning championships. I think for the most part, and we've always heard this going back into Notre Dame history, having a chance to talk to the unks, the big bros of the program that you guys have, like a Reggie Brooks, like a Derek Brown, and some of the greats that you've had an opportunity to talk to and speak with and build relationships with. You always hear when they convey what it was like to play under Lou Holtz, how intense it was during the weeks leading up to what were not the biggest games on the schedule. Like, dude, practice was worse for Navy. Practice was worse for Air Force. Practice was worse for Tulsa. And then we would get to the week of Miami. We would get to the week of Michigan. We would get to the week of Florida State, and everything was super loose.
Yeah.
Right? Because we had already set the precedent of the level we were going to practice at. And then all he wanted us to do in the big games was go out and be loose and play because he was going to be loose and take chances. And we knew that. So we were prepared for that and we knew what we had to do. And I think the biggest challenge to Marcus Freeman in building a team that can rival and truly compete with Alabama and Ohio State and Georgia and Clemson, which Notre Dame has already defeated Clemson in 2020, to be able to truly compete with those teams and win a national championship, Marcus Freeman has to find what it is that his team is going to be. For example, Lou Holtz knew and could convey to his teams when we play Miami, they can't handle our physicality. They might have the speed, but they can't handle our physicality on either side of the ball. That's going to be the basis of how we play them. We're going to punch them in the mouth. Then when we punch them in the mouth and hold them under what they're used to scoring offensively, then we're going to score more than people have scored on them because we're going to take chances because we have Ricky Waters, because we have Rocket Ismail, because we do have the skilled players that can go out there and make big plays. And that's how he fashioned the team to be able to go ahead and win that championship in 88 and be one of the most dominant programs as an independent for a 6-year stretch. In your opinion, how is Marcus Freeman and the staff, how are they going to go about building a team that can rival Alabama, Georgia, Clemson, and Ohio State?
To me, it's about coaching to win. I think Marcus Freeman has given you inklings of him changing the narrative of coaching to win instead of coaching not to lose, coaching to win in recruiting. He's going into the schools that the championship teams are pulling players from going in the depths of those and getting those players to commit to Notre Dame, or at least being in the conversation. Things
Mm.
that we were not doing before. When you coaching not to lose, you're not going there because you're not taking no chances. Because you like, let me stick to the well because I can pump 9, 10 wins if I just do it the same way. Marcus Freeman coming in saw that and said, "No, we got to take chances to win. We got to get us a Will Anderson. We got to
Mm.
go recruit a Bryce Young or a Dante Moore or a CJ Carr, and we got to secure the bag." That's coaching to win. That's how you compete with before you ever get on the field. That's how you start competing. So we started competing on that level. Shows me that Marcus Freeman is trying to coach to win, and then it's going to result on the field. You see how the team is built. A bunch of athletes. I don't know who's going to roll out there because they all can do everything.
Yeah.
But that competition mixed with the right coaching is coaching to win. You get a Super Bowl coach defensively to cover the things that we lacked last year: linebacker speed and linebacker play in the middle of the field. You go get a Mike Mickens, a guy that played the position himself and also a part of Marcus Freeman's staff before, coming in to help that secondary, getting all stars and freshmen and talented guys, bringing veteran guys back.
Yeah.
That's coaching to win. Bringing back Isaiah Fauski, coaching to win. That's an easy way to lose a guy to the league. Has no ties to you as a head coach. Don't know what's going to happen next. Convincing him to stay and win a national championship when he can easily go make a couple $1 million. That's coaching to win. So Marcus Freeman has decided, without even playing a game yet, under the Marcus Freeman era, that he's coaching to win, and that's going to lead to success against the teams that matter, like the team we played first in Columbus.
Now, I want to point this out because we like to give you numbers as well right here on Lucky Lefty Podcast. Do you understand that Lou Holtz and the Fighting Irish in 88, 89, and 1990 averaged 34.2 points per game? That's in the late 80s, bro. Brian Kelly's team has averaged over 34.2 points a game twice in his 11 seasons.
Coaching to lose, coaching not to lose.
Twice in his
Yeah.
2022. Just think
That,
about that.
that
So
spells teamwork.
basically, if you were to extrapolate what Lou Holtz did and to bring it into 2022, it probably has the value of close to 40 points per game, the way the game was played back then.
Because you got to count them inflation points.
So exactly. So it's efficiency and explosiveness. And it goes back to what you said about you having to have it a half empty glass when in regards to Tommy Reese and what we need to see in his evolution as an offensive coordinator.
100%. He's got to have a top five scoring offense, and he has to have a quarterback that's first or second round. Those are the two ingredients that you have a productive offense that's an offensive led team, or that you actually converting and making points on the board. We know that the teams that are winning the championships outside of the outlier of Georgia, you look at Joe Burrow, they was averaging around 40 points. Trevor Lawrence averaged about 40 points. Justin Fields averaged around 40 points. We know about Bryce and CJ. So you're talking about championship teams hanging around that range. And usually those are teams that are in the top scoring offenses. Look at what they're producing. You got guys like T. Higgins, Devontae Smith. You got thousands of guys that are coming through that program because of the offenses and what they're putting on the board. Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Joe Burrow. These are guys that are a part of high scored offenses. So those is telling me if we had a top five scoring offense and a quarterback that's first, second round, I know that we have a team full of draftable guys, a team full of guys that are getting a lot of numbers on the board, and we're scoring a lot of points. So that's what it's going to take for us that we didn't have the last 10 to 12 years consistently. We knew we would win games because we knew the other team was going to mess up eventually. That was a strategy. We're
Yeah.
like, we're better than this team from a talent standpoint, so we're not really worried that we just can't keep up. It's just like your big brother, their little brother, we're just gonna keep, put the hand on the forehead. They can't touch us for the whole time, and then when we're ready, we push them down or something. That's how we won our games. Now, you throwing some variables in there. You throwing some younger guys in there. You throwing a quarterback with a more high-powered offense around him. You're doing some different things to coach to win, and I think that's what's going to help us this year.
Lucky Lefty podcast, and we hear from the head coach of the Fighting Irish, who talked about the biggest improvement and the biggest impression with his team right at this point in fall camp.
I think it's the ability to run the football. I mean, that's something that I've been really, really pushing on our offense and pushing really on our entire team, is that we have to be able to run the football and stop the run, because running the football to me really creates so much space in terms of the pass game. When a defense feels like they got to do everything in their power to stop a run, being on the defensive side, I understand that when you don't feel like you can stop the run at will, you try to do different things defensively, and all of a sudden that opens up the pass game. And so to see our offense run the ball today and really do a good job of really being positive in the yardage in terms of running the ball, it was really good to see. And again, the decision making. We had some big plays on offense today. Some balls downfield. Tyler threw some great balls downfield, and we saw some guys make some big plays. And Drew threw some balls downfield and made some good plays. And so those are the things that, again, it all is created from being able to run the ball. And you run the ball, it opens up the pass game.
And there you have it. There you have it. We heard it from the head coach.
And I do think it'll be interesting because we are going to run the ball. We are going to do a lot more play action. It's just coming down to, are we going to take advantage of the drives that were on the field? If you're running the ball, if you're doing a lot of play action, you're taking up more time, but you got to make those drives count. You can't go 8 plays and then punt the football. Can't go 6 plays and then go 3 and out. So it has to be something where we're succinctly scoring on drives where we may get 6 or 7 possessions in the game. We got to score on 5 or 6 of those. So you got to execute. The decision making is very important, but this way of scoring the football, of being physical, running, and using some RPOs in there, you got to be able to execute and score points with it, or we're not going to hit that 40-point total. I do believe we'll get some possessions, some extra possessions from the defense this year, but we still have to be able to convert those. Now it's going to take longer. I think we will have, provided Tyler Buckner can show he can throw the ball past 25 yards on the button to our fast guys. If we can prove that in our game, then I won't be worried. But if we're struggling to push that ball down the field, I think we'll still have success, but we won't put up the point total that we know it takes to win those championships.
And when you talk about that, they have the talent, right? They have the talent, and I think the competition in the fall camp and the urgency that's been created by this coaching staff and Marcus Freeman, it's going to pay dividends. At least we believe it's going to pay dividends on September 3rd when they walk into the horseshoe, and we get a different outcome than what this team has been used to in big games previously. And Marcus Freeman, he attributes that to what he set in place, and he believes that it's going to pay dividends for his football team.
I think it's the intensity. It's the good on good, and we've done more good on good probably than I've ever done. But I think it's what's necessary in terms of developing an identity, developing a confidence in the things that you're good at. And, that's probably the biggest thing is that, hey, we're not going to do a whole bunch of scout work right now. We're going to go 1s on 1s, 2s on 2s, and we're going to be competitive. And, again, that's the reason. Injuries can be a result of that. It's called training camp. I just told them it's supposed to be hard. You're battling against each other. And now as we are about 2 weeks out, we have to be really smart in terms of how we'll prepare, obviously, for Ohio State as we move forward. But I was really pleased with the 11 practices or 12 practices that we've had. This group's competitive, man. They really don't care how they feel. They go out there and work. And you challenge them, and they always rise to a challenge. And so I'm excited to coach this group and was really happy.
He's excited to coach this group, and he's really happy. And that is a coach 11 practices in with some preparation for Ohio State coming up over the next 10 days. So, I've been trying to tell people this is a really good team. And I've been trying to tell them that from the end of spring all the way into a few practices into the fall. but just the intensity and the urgency that's set up that this team is bought into. That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
You can try to establish something, but has the team bought into it?
Yeah, that belief, man, is huge and it's showing, man. And that's the one thing that's a huge change is the belief in the team itself, not just us, the fans and the bloggers and the journalists, but the team themselves believe that this is one of those teams that can go all the way. Similar to 2015, we didn't need nobody to tell us we was good. We knew we was good, knew we was going to be the team we ended up being, even though we had a lot of injuries. I think the difference between this team and 2015 is that this year's team is built well from the standpoint that there's a lot more guys that can play a lot more positions. Think of an offense full of CJ Prosises, of that came in as a safety, played receiver, and then switched to running back, and then got drafted at running back. So that's what I would describe Marcus Freeman's recruitment is a bunch of CJ Prosises guys that are really fast, got the size and speed and everything intangibles, but are versatile. So that I think bodes well better for handling injuries throughout the season because a guy like Mayer's going down now at linebacker, it would be an impact, but it wouldn't be the death blow that we needed last year because of recruiting, because we have so many guys that can fill in that spot. Maybe not give the same production, but when you get guys that are replacing guys like Kyle Hamilton with a Brandon Joseph, you're sitting pretty. And then you still have a Tariq Bracy. You still have a Clarence Lewis that's developing with a Cam Hart and a Jaden Mickey. So injuries can happen on this team, and I still feel really good that we're still in a really good position to be a threat. I mean, losing Jadarian Price, that's huge for the Notre Dame fans because we know about him. But the other teams don't even know yet. And they're still still worried about Aldrick Logan and Chris Tyree.
He talked about going good on good more than he thought he would. And in making that decision, I've always talked to you what percentage of the practices that you were when you were at Notre Dame did you guys actually go good on good versus going up against the scout team?
Not enough. I mean, we had our moments where we would have a couple drives, and do it that way. So it was always really exciting in practice to be able to have those moments. But it's nothing of what I'm hearing of right now where the competition is just so intense because, I mean, they're starting off with competition practices. You see what I'm saying? We didn't compete until the end. Everything else was just business as usual going into, getting your individual work, learning the offense, repping the plays, technique stuff. Now you starting off practice hitting and doing red zone and competing. It's just driving a different temperature on the team, and it's making it less monotonous. And the more less monotonous, the longer in the season you can get, the better the results.
I look at this schedule, and we talked about the trenches last Thursday. Great show we had. Notre Dame only faces one offensive line. They're only going to face one team that has a better defense than the defense they face every day in practice. The defensive line front seven that they face in practice is better than every team on the schedule other than Clemson, I would say. Clemson would be the only defense that they face that's better than the Notre Dame defense. I spoke about BYU, and they're big on the defensive line. They'll be able to push back, especially early on against the run. But the advantage at the skill position is Notre Dame will just be a better team, and it will be about execution and their ability to stop the run on the other side. But the key, as we think about this LL Nation, Marcus Freeman talked about being impressed with the ability of this offensive line to run the ball, specifically as practices have progressed throughout fall camp. And I've pointed out, it has literally been a play-by-play, plays-by-play, series-by-series, day-by-day battle in the trenches between the offensive line and the defensive line. And you're just sitting there and you're watching it. And it's back and forth, back and forth. But I will say on Friday, specifically in the first team series, Aldrich estimate Chris Tyree, to me, is going to be the most surprising player to Notre Dame fans this year. I really believe that. He's fast, but his feet look quicker. He's playing at a different speed. Could it be that he has more of an understanding of what they're trying to do in the rushing offense with the addition of Harry Heastand, who I tell people all the time does not just teach the offensive line. He doesn't just teach the tight ends. He goes and he sits with the running backs to explain to them, this is what you should see. This is where the opening should hit. If the opening's not here, then you should have another opening back here. This is what your offensive line coach is doing. This is the value he gives to that offense. He's just not stuck on teaching the offensive lineman. He is the teacher of the entire run game. And that's the accountability and the responsibility he takes as a teacher. And it's quite refreshing to watch him on certain plays go to the running back and say, yo, you probably should have hit that here. Or look at this. Because he doesn't want to overstep his boundaries with Dylan McCullough. But he's explaining, like, yo, this is what we're trying to do on this play for you. So I want you to see this. Tell me what you see. And then we can go about making sure that the rushing game or the running game, is operating as maximum capability.
That's right. That's right. And I just like the fact that there's a presence over the team that's a comforting voice. It's not a micromanaging situation where he's trying to budge himself on or impede himself on the other coach's technique or something. He's just giving the general just constant reminder of this is our identity. Don't go outside. There ain't no blocking out there. Run inside because that's who we are. And I think those are the things that you need to hear.
Yeah.
And I think it's a backing voice to Dina McCullum, because I know he's probably, knowing the mission, knowing the identity. And I just think that melds well. It's different when you have a micromanaging situation where you're in a meeting room or you're on the field and you're learning a certain way. And then the guy comes in and then impedes and has no idea about what you've done and just throws his to say, all right, we're doing that. We're just going this way. I think there's a difference in approach there.
So as a quarterback, if you are coming into a situation as a leader, because they talked about Tyler Buchner and his leadership and needing to see that from him, coming into a situation where you have guys going down, right? And Coach Freeman talked about the intensity. He talked about not changing and making sure that they know that things are going to be hard and making sure that they know injuries are a part of the game. They're going to happen. As a quarterback, how do you step in the middle of that and lead, knowing you might be down bodies at the wide receiver position, but still let everybody know, look, I'm your dude. We got this. Let's go.
Throwing that rock. Throwing that rock. Because at the end of the day, you're controlling where the ball goes and you can make receivers look really good. So Tyler Buckner's accuracy can solve all of that.
Yeah.
Why did Tom Brady make Jabbar Gaffney look good? Most people don't remember Jabbar Gaffney.
From Florida. Yes, sir.
Jabbar Gaffney was nice.
He was nice in college. Yes, he was.
He was nice in college for sure. But he was nice in New England, and that was about it. Tom Brady be making guys look really good. I mean, he was good, but I'm just saying NFL. I mean, Deion Branch.
Yeah.
Great with the Patriots.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like there's a difference when accuracy can make guys a lot better. So for Tyler Buchner, I mean, look, having this Braylon James and Tobias Merriweather and Lindsey and Jaden Thomas and Styles, man, you got great talent. But they can't throw it to themselves. So if you accurate as in putting things on the nose and all of that, and you paint receivers in all type of places, Tyler Buckner, you can have 5,000 yards. Michael Mayer can be your Travis Kelce. But you got to be Patrick Mahomes too. You see what I'm saying? So it works both ways. But the one thing we do know is that we've always, at Notre Dame, offensively, in a recruiting standpoint, always had the people there. Let's just put it like that. We had a Will Fuller, CJ, Michael Mayer, Eifert. I even throw Ben Koyak in there because he's still playing some. Ben Koyak in the league somewhere still. So Equinemius, I just saw him catch, the ball. Matter of fact, Jack Cohn almost won him a game yesterday.
He did. He played well for the Colts.
And what did I say? I say, look, he's gonna find him a nice backup role somewhere.
You did.
You ain't gonna hear about him, but he's gonna pop up. You be like, oh, that boy kind of nice. Where he from? And what happened?
Notre Dame saved his college career. Facts.
Notre Dame gave him a nice retirement boost to the NFL. That man got to take 3 or 4 passes the next 10 years.
Because that backup check is probably the best job in the world. That backup quarterback check.
And he's in Indy. They don't know. The difference between 2 and 3 ain't no different. They're going to be like, you look like the same guy.
That dude could be at Notre Dame on Saturdays for games and back for the game on Sunday.
Man, we done turned Jack Cohn to a little legend now. Little Indiana legend now. So we got the people. Is the point.
Yeah.
And we turning rice cakes into rice towers over here, So I do think that now it's just a culmination of putting it together.
Yeah. You talk about having the people. There are 2 people that Notre Dame have on offense that are absolutely unstoppable.
Yes.
Let me tell you something, bro. I wanted to go hug the defensive backs on Friday as I watched practice. Because in practice, the defensive backs, they cheat.
Yes.
Because they know the plays.
There's some cheaters out there.
No, they cheat a little bit. Don't get me wrong. They played well, specifically in the 7-on-7 drills.
Yeah.
But they cheat on certain plays.
Of course.
Didn't make a difference with 87. Didn't make a difference whether or not they cheated. They can't stop them. I saw at least 2 defensive backs feel like they were right there. Nope. Completion. It's nothing. You can't stop them. You can't. And it goes back to what you just said. We have the dudes. There's Ohio State. The linebackers at Ohio State definitely can't stop them. You bring down the safety. Oh, you have to bring down a safety to defend them?
You're going to roll this boat.
You have to bring a safety down? Okay, that means we can go over the top.
That's right.
We can go over the top. You dedicate 2 people to them? Uh-oh. You mean we can run the rock? Michael Mayer is, and we've talked about this, it's debatable whether it's him or Bowers as far as the best tight end in college football. Hey, Alabama tried to come and get him in the offseason. He said no. This dude is absolutely amazing. And I have been critical. Knowing how good he is, the next step for me is him making the plays in the biggest moments because I feel like he hasn't done that.
Yes.
He's had some plays in big moments, but he's let us down in big moments as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's ready. And I can say this. He is a leader on that offensive side of the ball. I'm talking about a vocal leader. And that's really good to see.
That's right. I mean, that's Captain America, man. It's just time for him to play Captain America in that role. And in War Game, he was out there kicking butt.
Yeah.
He was in the front. We don't need you to be a side character this year. You got to be Captain America. Period. And that's our expectation. And it's not a huge expectation because you already the best player. We just need you to be Captain America for Notre Dame. Because we know beyond this, you're gonna be, you're still gonna be a really good player. So, that's a high expectation, but that's just like Fauski's 20 sack season expectation.
Yeah.
That's what Chase Young did. Chase Young got, what did he do? 20 and a half sacks this last year.
Yeah.
And guess where they was playing at? The championship. Guess where Chase Young went? Number 1 pick. That's what 20 sacks can do.
Wait a minute. The year he got 20, they lost to Clemson in the semis.
Oh, okay. But
that was the Trevor Lawrence.
Oh, yeah.
Put the team on his back.
Okay, but you lost to another first round pick, pick of the draft. So, but I'm saying that's gonna get you there though.
Oh, definitely.
Definitely. Yeah, and then that's one of those things where that expectation is a lot for everybody else except Boston.
Yeah.
So we got 2 guys that we asking ridiculous asks.
Yeah.
On the same team.
Yeah.
So that just tells you, like, we asking Will Anderson, Bryce Young expectations because we have guys like that. They just have to show it.
Yeah.
That's why I know we have a chance.
Hey, good conversation going on in the chat amongst LL Nation. I give it to you. 1 game. Who's your tight end? Michael Mayer or Tyler Eifert?
Eifert.
Oh, you said that quick.
Eifert.
You said that quick. Why?
Eifert was the team in 12.
Facts.
Pass game?
Facts.
Yeah, it wasn't we didn't have a Styles. I mean, we did and stuff, but we didn't use it. It was, we're throwing it to Eifert. Evan there, he's throwing it to Eifert. Tommy Reese in there, he's throwing it to Eifert. Eifert catching everything in big moments. We need Eifert to step. No. Look at that Alabama game. He going crazy. Double team with D. Milner and all them. Going crazy. Targets. There was no indecision. So
then they took a reception from him, didn't they?
Yeah, they even
on
took
the sideline with the review.
Yeah. And that changed the game. That changed the game. So, but Tyler Eifert's impact on the game has been more than Michael Mayer's been in a game. Talent-wise, they both very talented.
Mm-hmm.
But Tyler Eifert had the same impact in games that Michael Floyd had in games, and Michael Floyd had 1,000 receptions and shit. So, yeah.
As we continue the conversation about unstoppable players, Lorenzo Styles Jr., he can get wherever he wants to, when he wants to, in the slot, the X, the Z, it doesn't make a difference. Wherever he lines up, he can run whatever route. He can beat you deep. He can beat the double team. He's unstoppable. He's looked unstoppable. Chris Tyree has looked unstoppable too, bro. I stopped a little bit short of putting him on the same level with Michael Mayer and Lorenzo Styles Jr., but you're going to see a different Chris Tyree this year. That's all I'm going to say. It's a different dude, different level of confidence. Now, I go to the other side of the ball. Since we're talking unstoppable, I said this and I put it out there months ago, but I'm going to bang the table with it this morning. Anywhere you go in this world, the equation will always be true. You know what? Let me just put the equation. I'm going to put the equation up on the board for people to see. This equation will always reign supreme, no matter where you go in this world. And I want people to understand. You see that equation? You see that? 16 is greater than 14 everywhere in the world. And it's true in South Bend. I'll leave it right there. 16 is greater than 14. Let me tell you about this dude, Brandon Joseph, man. I know some people out there like, what? Let me tell you something, man.
That was the most GC way you could have answered that. Because you had to put some logic and math to it.
Man, look here, bro. This dude made an interception in practice on Friday. We couldn't tweet, but I had to fake tweet just to make myself feel like I was doing my job.
Yeah, the fake tweet.
I had to act like I was actually tweeting something out. Like, dude, I had to fake it. Like, dude, I feel like I should be doing something right now. There's no way a play like this should not hit the internet instantly. It's 2022. We find out about everything instantly. This was too beautiful of an interception, not for people to know, for people not to know immediately. It was that good.
It was that good.
Name me. I'll give LL Nation, Malik, Lefty, please correct me if I'm wrong. Name me the one area where 16 is not better than 14.
Playmaking.
Nah, bro. Nah. Because I've seen him make plays against the best team in the Big Ten in the biggest moment in the Big Ten championship game with Northwestern. I saw that as a freshman. That ain't it. Next.
I don't know. I mean, that was Kyle Hamilton's thing, though.
He's not fast.
Instinct. What's the instinct? What about instincts?
He's not faster.
Run support for sure. He's just bigger.
Yes, I'll give you run support. I'll give you run support / tackling. I'll give you that.
Now that got Kyle first round though.
What else though? Because he's not better.
He's not a coverage guy.
He's not faster. He's not more athletic.
Kyle Hamilton is Taylor Mays uninjured.
Ooh. I think he's a little bit better than Taylor Mays. Taylor Mays is more of a linebacker than me playing safety.
He's a playmaker. But
he was a playmaker.
His biggest problem in the league was he wasn't a coverage guy. Kyle's not a coverage guy.
Look,
Kyle's a float run playmaker. He's more like Humphreys than he is like Ed Reed.
You know what? Well done. Tom Ballort with the win. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Tom, yes, he is. You are today's winner. He is a better podcaster. And he's probably better at golf. He's probably better at golf than Brandon Joseph. He's probably a better hooper, too.
I don't know. They said Kyle can hoop.
No, that's what I'm saying. Kyle was probably a better hooper.
Oh, yeah.
All I know is Brandon Joseph is your starting punt returner. That's all I know. Talking about playmaking, he's going to do it on both sides. Dude, I tried to tell people, it took me 2 practices in the spring, up close and personal, to be like, people might not like to hear this, but he's a better leader on the back end, too.
See, that's an intangible thing. That's like a
preference.
That's a preference.
Yes.
That's a preferential thing.
He's a better people. He does a better job of getting everybody around him to play better. Instead of just going out there and saying, I'm the dude.
Okay. So you saying that if Brandon Joseph was to step in once Kyle got hurt, hypothetically, they would have been better off than what they ended the season with.
How many games did he miss? 6?
Half. He missed legit half the season.
Half the season? There would not.
Or you saying we would have gotten better?
Yes. I think certain people would have felt a lot different and would have played better. Houston Griffith is going to look a little bit different next to him. DJ Brown is going to look a little different next to him. Just saying.
So I look at Brandon Joseph is my Jalen Brunson in the Mavs offense. He's making guys better. He can play, but he's a niche guy.
You know what?
I feel like
Kyle Hamilton would definitely be Luka.
Okay, yeah, okay.
You're right. And even without Luka, Jalen Brunson could lead them to a series lead.
Yeah, could do all right. Yeah, okay, yeah. There we go.
Yes. Now that's not apples to apples because I think Brandon Joseph is a better level of player than Jalen Brunson. He's a first round pick. He's a first round pick.
Yeah, he's
not.
But
just looking at the situation, you using that, we can make that correlation. It's not apples to apples, but yeah, that's a good way to start. That's a good basis.
So would he? Okay, then the question is, would he be more important to this year's defense than Kyle was last year?
Oh yes, absolutely. Yes. I'll tell you this, Brandon Joseph. And we talk about this, right? In the first topic. Going into big games as a head coach and as a team, you have to know they might be used to scoring 40, but they're only going to put up 30 on us. They can put up 40 on everybody else. We're only giving up 28 to 30, which means offense, go get 35. They're not scoring more than 30 on us. Okay, go get 35. You already know what you have to put up.
We the Ravens defense in 2000.
Facts. You already know what you have to put up in a big game. Go get us 35 in a big game. Because we're not giving up more than 30.
But that's the thing.
That's the attitude you have to have.
But we was that last time too with Georgia. Think about that. Georgia gave up right around 30, and we just couldn't hit that extra.
Are you talking about the two matchups against Georgia?
Yes. We was right there.
Well, we
held them. We held them. We both
had drives late in the game to win the game.
Yeah. We have where we want them.
Oh yeah. We held Georgia under that norm. With a defense, in my opinion.
We damn near had Clemson under that norm too. Kinda.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't far now. It wasn't no.
It was what, 33 to 33 in regulation?
It was
with DJ. Yeah, I mean,
it was right there.
Yeah.
Teams just ain't getting their average versus us now. They ain't just doing it.
No. I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
but you have to have that attitude. We're going to hold them under what they usually score, and we're going to put up 35. Like, no one thought Notre Dame was going to put up 30 points against that Miami team at 88. That Miami team wasn't giving up 30 points, right?
That wasn't what they was thinking on winning the game with.
But low key, they almost ruined the matchup, but they low-key gave Notre Dame the blueprint of how to do it. Because if you remember, Michigan put up 30 and had a double-digit lead in the fourth quarter, the game before Miami played Notre Dame. And they did it with physicality. Punch them in the mouth, hold them under the norm. The only difference was they couldn't stop them the last 2-3 drives. They couldn't get a stop.
And that's just like this game going in Ohio State.
Yeah.
If we can make CJ uncomfortable, we got him.
Yeah.
We got him.
Yeah.
Uncomfortable. We ain't got to say sack him 1,000 times or pick him off. We just got to make him uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because making him uncomfortable is putting Ohio State's point total at 28.
Said at 28?
At 28. And after that, they don't got nothing. What do they got? Ohio State beating us by 50,000 points, like people keep assuming, is because of CJ. Ain't because of no defense holding us to no points.
Right.
Ain't because no running game gonna keep us off the field. If anything, they're gonna score fast, which is gonna keep giving us the ball, which is, in my logic, ain't no way they scoring over 40 points. It's not a 40-point game on 9-3.
Well, if Notre Dame runs the ball just specifically with the clock,
yeah, ain't no way.
Football, you're not going to.
Because our defense ain't just going to Michigan State itself out the game and just keep giving up crazy.
Basically, you're saying the defense will get zero stops.
Yeah, come on, bro. We going to get some stops. So throw some stops in there, throw a turnover, maybe get 1 or 2 in there and make them uncomfortable. I don't see them scoring over 28. I don't see them scoring over 28. And if they do score, it's going to be early. But once we set in, start running that rock.
Yeah.
And we make CJ uncomfortable, it's going to be a really close game. It'll be a really close game. So I think that if we can get it to the 4th within 10, maybe 9.
Yeah.
Hey, Tommy Reese got something for him.
Let's get into some other things from practice. Maris Leofau was limited. It was an open practice to the media, but also open practice to the families. He was limited. He continues to be limited, and they're going to continue to keep him at that pace until it's time to ramp up the last week heading into Ohio State. That's it. It's just management of his knee and the workload. He's put in a heavy workload in the spring. He's worked out and done all of the, training with Matt Bayless in the winter and summer. And now they're just making sure that they don't lose him before the first game. And they're building up to that. And when he does get in, he's going at 100%. He's not going at 50%, 60%. Any rep he gets, he goes at 100%.
And honestly, with his ability, I really believe that with Maris Leofau, he could be starting out as a third down specialist. We have enough talent where, honestly, we don't need Maris Leofau every down on defense for his own health's sake.
Yeah.
You put Maris Leofau in there when it matters, third down, red zone, maybe big play in the game. I think he's experienced enough to be able to go in there and make a play.
Yeah.
But also he can stay healthy that way.
Yeah.
I think putting him in every snap against a Marshall or a Cal or, I think it's just raising his chance because right now he's looking like an injury risk. He's vulnerable to injuries. A lot of that is, you're getting back and overcompensating a little fast. But if you can work your way into it, I think we can keep him healthy and he can be impactful in games that matter.
Let's talk a little bit about some of the other guys. Clarence Lewis has been a question for a lot of people. And I know, look, I can only report what I see. He's running much better. He's playing much better. And if there is a thing called getting over the hump or overcoming adversity or jumping the hurdle that's there in a young man's life or career, it's quite possible that Clarence Lewis has done that as he approaches his senior year. How well will he play? That's up to him.
Up to him.
But he's put in the work. He looks leaner. He looks faster.
And he don't have no pressure on him.
He don't. Well, he doesn't have pressure on him, but he does have some freshmen on his arse.
Oh no! Oh,
I said arse.
Yeah,
I want to make sure I kept the GC.
That's right. That's right. He, I think he doesn't have any pressure to the sense of what the Fiesta Bowl was, but he does have some pressure internally on, can I get some clock? I gotta get in the rotation. Because like you said, there's guys that are coming in that just got there, that's been there since the spring, guys getting better over the off season, transfers, and everything in between. At this point, You're trying to get in that rotation. Because there's not a lot of room for embarrassing moments because we got guys that can actually play. Ben Morrison can actually play. Jaden Mickey can actually play. We know Cam can play. We know Tariq got better. We know Brandon Joseph can play. So I mean, damn, that's a rotation right there. So where you gonna fit at? I think that's the fight that you going into camp wondering is I gotta get some snaps.
Yeah. But I think you talk about the pressure. The pressure's not there because I think there is a bigger cause that he's playing to. I think he was asked to do things last year that really did not kind of align with the strengths that he has as a defensive back, which is being a defensive back that is bigger and can be physical, but he doesn't have great speed, might not have the best hips. Don't ask him to bump and run so much. Put him in off coverage. He's big, he's physical. He can come up and tackle in the run game. He can come up and tackle and keep the receiver at 5 yards after the reception. Play to his strengths. And I think with Al Golden as the DC, not to say Marcus Freeman didn't play to his strengths, but there was no one behind him. You know, he took a lot of snaps. Like you see in college football, you see 80 snaps as a defense, 70 to 80 snaps. You know, you're playing 80 snaps as a defensive back and you're constantly running and chasing. That's a lot of snaps. Like eventually, if you don't have any viable backups, this year he does. Ben Morrison and Jaden Mickey can come in. I got 20 snaps for you, bro. I got you. We can keep you fresh in the second half.
That's right.
Because we didn't see anything from Clarence Lewis in the first half that made you feel like, what the heck is going on in the Fiesta Bowl? It was really the second half when they went up tempo and the defense as a whole started to get tired. Then you started
we got depth for that. Yeah,
right.
So don't try that out there, teams.
Right.
We got depth for that.
That's going to be a challenge. Teams are going to challenge Notre Dame the same way until they prove that they can handle it. They're going to challenge them this year. Notre Dame gets the opportunity to show that they can handle it. Lucky Lefty podcast. Jay Thomas on the sidelines, you know, their precaution. He could play if he was forced. A little bit of a hamstring issue. They're going to rest him. He's proven enough. He's proven that he's one of the top guys. He's a starter. They're going to rest him. Joe Wilkins back in the mix. Love to see it. Most of all, hey, bro, that dude 26 in blue, he's gonna be all right. I know he just came over from safety. He's gonna be all right. He's straight. We good. We're good. We're good. We're good. If we have to roll in with him in the slot instead of Avery Davis, who we love, captain of the team, Irish fans, we're good.
Let's ride.
Let's ride. We're good. 26 can get her done.
And that's what I'm saying. It's like you can't even get an offer if you don't have 1,000 yards on offense and like 100 tackles on defense.
Yeah.
So, you know, you can't just because you play both sides, you gotta be nice at both sides if you don't come to Notre Dame. So we know that that's in the tank. We just gotta bring it out of him. That's all.
Yeah. So those are the things that we love to see and report to you guys about. Before we get out of here, look, we did a special show podcast on special teams. Some people have been asking for it. And we talked about the battle between Bryce McPherson, and John Sott, transferred from Harvard at the punter situation. And we pretty much knew Blake Grupe, transferred in from Arkansas State, was going to be the starting field goal kicker. And Bryce McPherson and I forget the other young man's name. We're going to be battling out for a kickoff. And Brian Mason got a chance to meet with the media and inform everybody how things have gone.
Kicking competition has gone well. I think every day they've gotten better and better. That's been kind of our goal. So just kind of addressing things, as a whole. So from last season to this season, we had to replace 5 specialists. So we had a lot of turnover in the room. We had to turn over the starting place kicker, starting holder, starting punter, starting kickoff specialist. So really the whole thing since we got, 4 new guys here this summer has been to try to get those guys together as much as possible, create as much cohesion as possible, and get a little bit better every day. Because it takes a little bit of time and work for them to be a full group, especially when there's 3 guys working together on field goal. I think every day we've gotten more confidence, we've gotten more cohesion together. Blake Groupie, as Coach Freeman kind of alluded to yesterday, is the starting kicker right now. So if we were to play today, Blake Groupie would be the starting kicker. He would handle all field goal duties in every situation. Bryce McPherson would be the starting kickoff specialist. John Sott would be the starting punter and holder. And Michael Vinson would be the starting long snapper, which is the one holdover.
So there you go. The long snapper is the lone holdover, which makes you feel good because you need a long snapper. That long snapper is vitally important. That's the most coveted job in the NFL, boy. You can hold on to that job for about 10 to 12 years.
That's
to
right.
build a good life for yourself. It's the backup quarterback and long snapper. Matter of fact, I think Notre Dame has like 3 long snappers in the NFL. If I'm not 3 former long snappers in the NFL.
That's right. And that's all because they just played the game right.
Yeah.
Just played the game right. They like, look, we know how to survive in this because this is a business. That 4 for 40 applies to this. They probably good at getting the coffee and donuts in the morning, the little stuff. Remembering the dude's birthday, play with the coach's kids after practice. They know what they do.
Couple of questions. Market Weiss, when the big plays are there, we have to capitalize. Ohio State will. I agree wholeheartedly with the first part. It's not really a pushback. I think Ohio State will make plays. I think the whole thing will be limiting the big play, and I don't think they will have as many big play opportunities as they usually have because I think the pass rush is going to get to CJ. I do believe Notre Dame will be successful stopping the run, and I think they'll try to make big plays, and if they don't hit them early, we'll see. I don't see Ohio State hitting a bunch of big plays.
Yeah, I just like, man, come on now. Like, we just not going to give it up. You're going to hit a couple, but how many of y'all saying y'all going to hit against us? I mean, good grief.
This is the crazy thing, and people have, pushed back. I've been trying to tell people, yo, what has Marvin Harrison Jr. done?
Yeah.
You talking about a bowl game against Utah?
Look, I hope you're not thinking our bowl game is what's going to roll out there on 9-3.
It's like,
come on.
It'd be different if we were rolling in and they had Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson at receiver with Smith and guys. Now I'm like, okay, you talking about 2 first rounders.
They gotta, they still thinking about it too now. They still trying to figure it out. They still going against Notre Dame too.
And this is their first time starting.
Yeah, you think
big game.
They not starting out against Bowling Green. They started out against Cam Hart.
This big game thing, there's so many assumptions being made just because of the position at Ohio State. We don't know.
And the best thing about football is you got to update that resume.
Yes.
You can't live off of Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave and Jackson and Jigba last year because only one of them came back.
One. That's it.
Only one of them played more than 3 games starting.
Right. Somebody can miss a signal. Someone can run the right route.
The moment can just get too big.
Drop a ball. I mean, it's a moment. This is a big moment for them.
Remember Alabama's freshmen and receivers after Jameson went down?
And Jameson went down, yeah.
Them boys look fresh. Let me not saying they won't be ballers this year, but when they had to go out there for the first time, they was dropping passes, running the wrong route, making Bryce's job a lot harder. So It's no different than the receivers over at Ohio State.
Yeah.
Yeah, they talented. Yeah, they was 5 stars. Yeah, they was good. But they ain't got the experience.
They got to go prove it.
That you can't replace. And on top of that, Cam Hart got more games than all of them receivers starting combined. What you going to do with that? What you going to do with Brandon Joseph, who got experience against the team specifically, making plays? What you going to do with that? First year guys? That's what I'm saying. Jackson J. McCain ain't LeBron James now. You know what I'm saying? Good grief. Like,
just Debo the whole game.
I mean, come on now. You act like he finna just, like, okay. So that's what makes it seem like, all right, we really in it for real. We really in it.
Lucky Lefty Podcast, Ryan Loftus, thank you. Can you guys go longer today since IB is canceled? I don't. We just gave you an hour rolling on an hour, 10 minutes.
People got stuff to do, man.
You know, man, my man has 2 kids.
Yeah, people got
2 kids and then some kids he has to coach later. So,
so
his day is full of kids.
Yeah, I'm over here giving y'all everything I got. No.
I told you to pray for him because he went through a lot this weekend with his second set of kids at Lakewood. So we appreciate you guys so much. We should be live. First of all, I want you to go follow Locked On Irish on Twitter. Locked On Irish on Twitter. We will have a Locked On Irish on Instagram up. The page, the graphics of the page, I think are going to be changed by Wednesday. And our first official Locked On Irish podcast should be Wednesday. At least that's what we heard over the weekend. It should jump off Wednesday. If not, then we'll be back as Lucky Lefty. But we do want you guys to keep in mind, more than likely, we will be doing 2 consecutive shows daily. We're going to do a 30-minute tape show that will be up on the Locked On Irish YouTube page. And then we'll do a live show after that. So you guys will have a show to watch and support, and then you guys will have the normal show that we do live with you guys to get it rocking. So we're going to give you the best of both worlds, still give you the same amount of content, and we hope that you guys are going to support. And after you watch the show, do us a favor. Go download the podcast. We would greatly appreciate it. Watch the show on YouTube, subscribe, share, hit the like button, and then do us a favor and go download the podcast. It'll be available on Google Play, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, any audio platform you can think of. Go download it. We appreciate your support. Also, the Lucky Lefty LLPN, Lucky Lefty Podcast Network. We've created a network on YouTube for all of our interviews with players, former players, and also shows that we're going to be creatively putting together as the football season gets started. I know Ryan Loftus reached out to us. We're going to get in contact with him for a show that he wants to do. If you're interested in doing a show on LLPN, let us know. All right. Bro, you got anything else?
I said we had a good show today so far.
Man, great show, man. Appreciate you guys. Bro, you already know what time it is.
Petticoat. Petticoat Junction.
It's time to get petty.
Oh, we did a good job executing.
Are you upset with something?
And fire up the Petticoat Junction train.
I just don't like you.
You don't?
No.
What is today's pettiest story? Petty Junction.
That's right. Petty Junction, pettiest story of the day, brought to you by Onora Whisky. OnoraWhisky.com, the premium American whiskey, OnoraWhisky.com. Bro, you got somebody to put on the petty train?
Shaun Crawford, man. Shout out. Shout out the Varsity Podcast coming to a place near you. We may do some work down the road pretty soon coming up for college football season. But man, Shaun Crawford is still drinking the Kelly Kool-Aid, believes that Notre Dame isn't using their resources to help the football players, blah, 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 blah. Their LSU does a better job of using the money to help the football players because Coach Kelly says so. And unfortunately, Shaun, the man lied to you. The only resources that are more available at LSU than at Notre Dame is the $100 million that LSU gave them. You just went down there and got lied to comfortably on the couch. He sat there and told you, oh, Shaun, it was more than just $100 million that got me down to LSU. It was the fact that LSU has more football resources and money to help the players and da, 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 da. Just because you flew down there and got an interview with him on his couch don't mean he told you the truth. You just got lied to comfortably instead of getting lied to over Zoom or StreamYard or something. It's like, listen, the only thing that changed at LSU was the man got paid $100 million. The players didn't get paid $100 million. The players got a new facility, but it wasn't because of Brian Kelly. Come on, Shaun, listen. I appreciate that you getting exclusive interview information, but that don't mean the man telling the truth. I asked him, I said, okay, what is the program doing that's so much better? He mentioned food, a parking lot for players to park at, and the school gives more stipend money to the kids in that Notre Dame. I'm like, Shaun, that's not why Coach Kelly went down there. As much as you want to believe that that's the case, that's not helping no W's either. So the whole point is, I love the podcasting space. But just because you get to sit down with a man, don't mean he's telling you the truth either. So that was my whole thing, because he tried to make it seem like Notre Dame is holding back on resources. And that Kelly couldn't function in the limited opportunities and resources available at Notre Dame. I said, you buying the narrative. You still buying that Kool-Aid? Come on, Shaun. But anyway, shout out to Varsity Podcast. We know what's going on. We getting the things done. Because I'm like, Shaun, we got the #1 recruiting class in 23 and 24 with the same goog you complaining about, with the same old tradition you talking about, with the same weight room and the same loft is that you crying about. #1 recruiting class. What does LSU got? Come on, man. Stop. The only thing that changed is one man's pockets got really big and another school did. That's it.
Lucky Lefty Podcast. Yo, thanks everybody. Don't forget, go follow Locked On Irish right now. We haven't changed the bio yet, but go follow Locked On Irish along with Lucky Lefty Pod on Twitter, Instagram coming soon. And lock in right here on YouTube and the audio when it drops. Make sure you watch both. Watch one, listen to both. Watch one, definitely download one. We appreciate you. For your boy, SD2 Mics, much love as we've approached 2,600 in subscribers.
Ooh, going up.
Keep going up. We said we're going to get the 3 stacks soon. Lucky Lefty, you guys pray for his Lakewood squad. We need some W's out there in California.
We don't need a prayer. We need some players. That's what we need. We don't need a prayer. We need
pray that they get players. All right. We'll see you guys tomorrow for another edition of the Lucky Lefty Podcast. Have a great day, but most of all, make sure that you spend it differently.